What? I'm not gonna start by saying remember, remember the 5th of November, even though I just said it. V for Vendetta started as a graphic novel written by Alan Moore, which came out in the 1980s. Then the Wachowski brothers came in, they changed a lot of the story in order to adapt the thing into a movie script, which would be directed by James McTeigue as his debut film. Now the movie stars Natalie Portman as Evie, Hugo Weaving as V, and Stephen Rea as Eric Finch, the investigator. Now the story of this film takes place in the near future after war and terrible viruses have affected mankind. However, England prevails at the cost of having chosen a fascist government which rules the UK with an iron fist. However, things are very bad for the people in this country. We're talking about oppression, censorship, discrimination towards homosexuals and non-white people. I mean, all these undesirable groups are being kidnapped and taken to concentration camps. This cannot be good. Enter Evie Hammond. Evie is on her way to an indecent meeting, if you know what I mean, when she suddenly encounters 3 members of the secret police who attempt to rape her and probably murder her. However, V shows up and saves the day. Once V saves Evie, he introduces himself and they both create a strange type of relationship. And let me tell you, Hugo Weaving does an excellent job portraying V. Even though we don't get to see his face, through his voice and through his corporal movements, we understand what the character has been through and his motivations. It's perfect. Yeah, so V is a dark figure. He uses poetry and a lot of quotes when talking, and he wants to basically ignite a revolution because he understands that there's something wrong with the country, and he uses terrorism to incite that revolution, but is for a good cause, in the movie at least. And yeah, that's what he's all about. Enter Eric Finch. Eric Finch is the second protagonist in this movie. I wouldn't call V a protagonist because what we all see in the movie comes through Evie's and the inspector's eyes. Having said that, Inspector Finch is the lead investigator for V's case, and throughout the whole movie his investigation will lead him to a lot of coincidences which will make him doubt the credibility of his own superiors, to come to a final resolution of what's going on. Anyway, something I really liked about this movie is the cinematography itself, how the director actually took the time to place the camera in angles which would resemble the graphic novel. I thought that was really cool. Also, the change in colors in some of the scenes, I really liked that. He did a really good job in that. Moving forward, another thing that I thought was done really well in the movie is how the director managed to keep a balance between the 2 main stories. You don't get tired of any of them. You want to know about Evie and then about the inspector until finally at the end they both collide to the resolution. I thought it was done almost to perfection. And finally, I loved the attention to detail in the movie. I mean, the lightning effects in every scene are perfect. They introduce you to this atmosphere. You know what these people are living through, and you get little side stories like in an English pub, a common English family, a retirement house. And it's also worth mentioning that all the actors in the movie actually look English. They all look like stereotypical English people, and I really like that. Now, the problems I have with the movie first is with Natalie Portman's acting. Wait, hear me out. I think she starts really weak. I mean, the first scenes when I see her, I don't really believe her character. However, she improves exponentially as the movie goes through. But I don't know why the first scenes were pretty weak in my opinion. And the second thing is actually regarding the music. I mean, the original soundtrack. Well, they do use classical pieces of art, and those ones work really well. You get plugged in into the movie. However, the original soundtracks are not really that memorable, and I believe if they have done a better job, then the movie would have immersed you a little bit more, and it will be a lot more memorable. And well, it's not really a bad thing, but it could have been a lot better. And finally, a point I do have to touch. Well, as I said before, the movie and the graphic novel are vastly different. However, the big difference that most people who read the comic book were so pissed off about is V himself. That's the major reason why people did not appreciate this movie as much as they could have. And here are the differences. In the movie, V is clearly a hero, and he's trying to make this revolution in order to make the people understand that they have to stop being sheep controlled by the government and start acting like, actual people. The government should be afraid of the people and not vice versa. He is a good guy. He's trying to wake them up, and that's his idea, that's his plan. However, in the comic book, V is portrayed as a cold-hearted, straight-up anarchist who will kill or manipulate everyone in his path in order to accomplish his goal. And his goal in the comic book pretty much is just to bring down the damn government and embrace anarchy, which is not necessarily a good thing, but also not a bad thing. It's up to the reader to decide whether it's good or bad or just crazy. You can't really tell. In the end, I am reviewing the movie, not comparing it to the graphic novel, so I have to say this is an excellent movie. You have to see it. This movie is an outstanding ace. This movie does a really sweet job of transmitting a political message, and if you have the time, you should really check out the comic book because it's totally different. It gives you the story from different perspectives, and as always, there's a link below for the trailer, and tell me which one do you like most, the movie or the graphic novel.
Thus I clothe my naked villainy for the old events, stolen forth of holy writ, and seem the saint when I most play the devil.
Thank you.